Nick, did you happen to get time to edit our Vladimir Guerrero erotica?
Please say no.
By
Wait,
chance?
no.
Why?
Why?
Fuck.
I was hoping you'd forget
Sexy.
about it, or it was just like too annoying to edit, where you just go like, I'm not going to deal with
Yeah,
this
because I
anymore.
didn't see it go out, and we were pretty excited that it hadn't gone out yet.
Yeah.
Am I the only person who wants to see this?
Probably. No, literally everyone I know wants to see
Yeah.
it. My girlfriend and all our friends are like, please.
I told nobody about this.
I asked my daughter had her boyfriend over, and we were all in the pool after we'd shot this. And because I was like, I didn't know what fan fiction was. I was like, what do you think fan fiction is? He's like, is that like erotic stuff? And he's like, yeah. I was like, how do you know that? And he's like 17 years old.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know all about that. I asked my wife, and
Yeah,
she's like,
right,
I have
erotica
no
myself.
idea what the fuck fan fiction is. I was like, probably.
Because that guy in the NHL had to complain and his wife was upset because they were like crazy sexualizing him. I think he was a
Yeah.
Nashville Predators player, right?
Yeah.
was
Who
insane.
was that again?
Wait, what?
I don't remember.
I can't remember his name, but he had to like make a statement being like, hey, like respectfully, can you stop?
Stop
Right.
making fanfics.
Stop
about
making
me.
it so sexy.
Right.
God
Cue
damn.
just cue the video, please.
Let's get this over with.
Thanks.
The stadium lights glistened off Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s perfectly sculpted forearms as he gripped the bat.
Sweat trickling down his temple, like the world simply wasn't ready for the raw power he held.
Each swing wasn't just for the crowd.
Oh,
It was for
Terry.
them.
Terry's done this before.
The chosen few who could handle the sheer torque of his
Oh yeah, he's
hips,
done this before.
the sinful snap of his wrists.
Tonight, he wasn't chasing home runs. He was chasing destiny.
And baby, destiny has curves.
As Vladdy trotted the bases, his jersey clung to him.
Like it knew what we all wanted. Button by button, his uniform screamed for freedom. But he denied it.
In the dugout, he locked eyes with us, mischief dancing across his lips.
You want to see me steal something? He purred. I'll steal your hearts. And maybe third base.
Don't ever say
My
purr.
God, the way he said third base.
Like he had been there 1,000 times, but tonight
My hair looks insane.
he was
by the way.
aiming for home.
His cleats pounded the dirt, but it was our hearts that trembled. He didn't jog, he prowled.
Every step was a love letter written in pine tar and broken scoreboards.
The crowd roared,
Your
but
dirty
all I
talk
could
must
hear
be
was the
terrible.
rhythm
Yeah.
of his breathing.
I was trying not to
Slow.
laugh through the whole thing.
Controlled. Like he was already undressing the night with his eyes.
He wasn't just playing baseball. He was playing us. Pitch by pitch, inch by inch.
And as he slid headfirst into home, the world stood still. Time bent to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s will. Dirt clung to his skin like it wanted to stay there forever.
He rose slowly, a knowing smirk carved onto his face.
He looked directly into the camera and whispered,
But we knew it was more than a call. It was a promise. And in that moment, we all surrendered to Vladdy Daddy's game.
Terry, you got a new line of work, buddy.
Terry has done this before. Babs has never read erotica before.
I'm really glad that I wasn't included very much in the video. And in most,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Babs is like the new robot on the job. He took off his shirt and it got real sweaty.
That was me
You know what,
trying not to
Babs?
I laughed through my fucking proposal speech. You know how much harder it's for me to not laugh through that?
Babs is that one kid in class where the teacher's like, Babs, can you continue reading? And everyone goes,
No, give me
Today,
something
Junior.
Give me something that's not going to make me laugh to read, and I'll read through it. That I was
You're
trying.
supposed to read it sexy.
That was me trying to put my.
That's fair.
Right.
I couldn't do it. I don't,
Yeah.
brother. No one's ever gonna have to say,
Dude,
to me, Babs, you're way too bad at sexy talk.
Next time you talk, I got to see a little bit more eyes.
The one
True.
thing I will
Got to lock
say,
eyes.
the part where I look up and go, safe. Producer Nick walked in and I looked right into his eyes, and about half a second later, we both just start pissing ourselves laughing.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I sucked at that. I don't need to be a good erotic reader.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm fully erect.
Yeah.
I have an innie
crazy.
now.
I'm
That was
convinced.
crazy.
I'm convinced you work on a phone line or something somewhere
Yeah.
because you got some good practice in there, man.
Dude, you're probably like one of those like 900 numbers. And it's like you're expecting
It comes on at 2 a.m. in the morning.
expecting to get like a hot girl, and it's just Terry on the other line.
1-800-Terralina.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys heard of Sofa Kings?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was whatever that was.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
That was something.
But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed that for some reason, our erotic fiction reading, make sure to subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Okay, Babs.
Mhm.
What are those, dude?
I had people at work look at these shoes. They looked a little funky, but they looked cool and much smaller on the website. I accidentally bought moon shoes, guys. Like these are moon boots. Look how giant these are
Dude.
compared to my leg. And this is my actual shoe size, by
That's
the
like
way.
3 inches of styrofoam on the bottom of your foot.
Yeah.
I bought they're like lifts. The guys at work are like, whoa. Like that's not really it doesn't look like you ordered those. Like what we
Yeah.
looked at might have been different.
Yeah, if you were to hold that shoe to the back of your calf or leg,
Yeah.
it's bigger than your calf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite literally. And I was sitting there talking to people, and I'm like, you know what? It is crazy because my foot is bruised on the bottom. I stepped on a rock. And I put these shoes on, and it hurt to walk without the shoes. With the shoes, it doesn't hurt. That's how much fucking cushion is in these. I bought them to wear to Montreal this weekend. I'm going to be hanging out with a bunch of hockey guys. I can't wear them now. They look like orthopedics
They'll
or the
they'll
shoes
beat
they
you
give
up.
to people that have like
Nurses' shoes.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the old people that get the geriatric shoes because
Right.
they're like physically disabled and they need the extra like structure.
Mhm.
They look
They
like
look like special
modern
shoes.
What are you
modern
trying to tell
clogs.
us?
Man, but
I can't stop looking at them though.
they're you
They're
can see them like
fucking
squish.
huge.
It's
You know what though?
insane.
If you ever go backpacking in Europe, those are going to be amazing.
Yeah, because I don't feel my feet.
Even
I'm
the
walking
Euro
on
I walked
clouds.
clouds.
60,000
Your ass,
steps.
dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend said, no, they look fine. I know she lies to me now.
Yeah. Oh, she's completely
Oh,
lying.
for sure, dude.
Also,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. You hurt your foot. I hurt my foot playing soccer yesterday because it was my first time. Like I wore my cleats in a couple times, but they still weren't fully worn. So like my feet were super sore today, and neither of us had the worst foot injury stuff because
Yeah.
you I don't know what you were
Yeah,
doing. man.
so I went to the dump. We had a whole bunch of debris on our property, and
Yeah.
so we went to the dump in the city of Cambridge, and then stepped on roofers' nails, and went right.
And what were you wearing? What shoes
my
were you
my
wearing?
sandals were right beside me. My sandals went
Yes,
right
and you
through.
didn't wear work boots or even shoes.
No, did
Okay,
not.
So I'm just gonna
And-
say all of these sound like very stupid foot injuries.
Yeah.
Well, I got excited because the Leafs favorited one of my videos on TikTok, so I hopped out of the pool and stepped on a rock.
Yeah.
I was just
He's
doing work.
hopping out
I
of
was
the
doing
pool.
good work. I'm just glad because my youngest daughter was there, my wife, and I'm glad I was the one that took the pain.
That's fair.
But then she's a PSW, so she's like, I think we have to go get a tetanus shot. Do you remember the last time we got your tetanus shot? I was like, I think I might have been 12.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
1999.
I was expecting like a needle like fucking this, and it was probably like that long, and
Yeah.
then right in the left arm.
Well, I get those two being kind of stupid. How is playing soccer be stupid hurting your feet?
You just gotta have better feet, dude.
You just
I don't
gotta
know.
have better feet. Just have
What do you
better
want?
genetics,
Yeah,
man. What's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
come
man?
on.
Cleats are hard to break in, but you also had more than enough time to beat the fuck out of your cleats.
Yeah.
So that they were broken in.
Yeah, and that's where it's my first time like actually wearing cleats. So yeah, I'll give you that one. But I guess maybe I got to get better genetics for my feet. But Terry, you got to
don't
get
know.
better at betting, man, because
Mhm.
Okay, no, women's basketball likes to bend me over and fuck me, dude.
yeah,
It's
it was great because
crazy.
I was watching the end of the game too, and I was like, we're all tight, like neck and neck. All of us were winning our bets.
you and I had our done like
Yeah,
like,
we
as-
were
when
good.
done recording.
We were done, and then I checked out Terry's, and so Terry's team was up with like in pretty much over the last 2 minutes of the game,
yeah.
and then just a nice little, and right in the last 3 seconds, gone.
Oh man.
fisted. That's how I
Just
felt. It was
history
awful,
repeats
dude.
itself for Terry.
So we're all 1-0.
Yeah.
I'm winning with the most money, but the other guys have also won their parlay, so it's
Yeah.
a bit tighter. You have a handshake bet that you've won, Rahil.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, that one's locked in anyways, but
Yeah.
I have 1820. Rahil has 1781. Charlie 1571, and Terry nothing.
Zippo.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a hard
Yeah.
knock life.
Parlay challenge going well so far for it was straight bet challenge last week, but parlay challenge is going well so far.
We're starting July right.
Yeah,
We're starting
finally
July right.
we won
Money on the
We
board.
won
Yeah.
money on the board.
We didn't do it
Yeah,
the
so-
whole last month.
Yeah, so May was the last time we won money, right at the end.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, was it? Oh my God, we went
We,
all of.
we
Oh
went the whole
yeah.
month,
All month
Yeah.
of June, no money.
and I missed a Nukenheim by one leg in golf too.
Yeah,
Sure you did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
missed an MLB by one. I think someone else may have missed by one or two. Like it was close.
Yeah.
So
I still throw it out that I got fucking blindfolded. Some bullshit.
That's fair. But it's just nice to see some money on the board. At least it makes things a little more interesting. It's not just record anymore.
Right.
It's and like Charlie's a couple bucks away. I'm like 39 cents away. Like it's close right now. Like, you know.
It's gonna be interesting to see the gamemanship from Terry now, because like you're not just focused on like we were focusing on money last month too.
Yeah.
And we all sucked. But like now it's not really about the legs. It's 100% about the money. And so like now is it like, do you take a riskier bet maybe in your next bet or the second one to try to make up a little bit from what you lost? It's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen from Terry over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, let it ride, man. Just maybe you hope we lose.
I'm retiring off my next bet.
Yeah.
He's gonna win and just be like, I'm undefeated in my last bet.
He's gonna pick another challenge card bet on the WNBA.
Nick said that
Dude, I'll rip it in half if that
Nick
happens.
said we needed to go for nukes, and I'm glad none of us went for nukes because we all went for like close-ish types of wagers,
Yeah.
and all ended up in a fairly decent spot. And then if maybe we'd be at $0 again, and the show would just be intolerable.
I
to watch.
was seconds away or inches away from betting George Springer to hit a homer, and he hit 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, but yeah, it's a little bit more close. I'm just like, shit, maybe I should have. In hindsight, I mean,
It doesn't really matter that much though, because like again, it's $1, and that can be made up in literally like nothing.
Yeah, I'm just glad we all like got it under our belts here to start this month, because like we're all touching money right now,
most
except
of
for
us.
Terry. And so like now I feel like we're in a positive momentum moving forward for the rest of July.
Yeah, and I think to end that off, what's going to be interesting is like when we're making our bets in the eavesdrop room, I think it's going to get a little more like, this is like minus 150, this is minus 120. Like you're going to go
So
a little
more-
bit riskier just to get that
more
extra
sweat.
couple bucks.
More sweat.
Yeah, it's
more
not
gamey.
just a record anymore. It's going to get a little more enticing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, next episode, man. NHL offer sheets, though, guys. Every year, this is a big thing before free agency opens.
Yeah.
And then now, very anticlimactic because everyone was saying Knives was going to get offer sheeted and the Leafs were going to have to start the rebuild, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's like every year, man. Like they always talk about offer sheets, and like I feel like it's TSN and Sportsnet like trying to draw like a bigger game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, just like, hey, watch our shit. This is probably gonna. It's just like Trade Center and all that stuff too, right? Like, I always feel like there's a lot of big talk about it, and then none of it ever fucking happens.
Yeah, it's pretty common. I think the most interesting about this one though was like, you know, the Cup's won. Even before the Cup was won, the Marco Rossi stuff was kind of going around about him being on potentially on the move. He's an RFA.
Yep.
There was the Bowen Byram stuff, which now he actually can't get offer sheeted anymore because him and McBain have been locked in.
Yeah,
So
they
they're
went
gonna-
into arbitration.
Yeah, so they went
right?
to arbitration. So Elliot Friedman, I mean, dude, can we talk about like Bob
The
McKenzie
Frege.
retiring? He's the GOAT,
Yeah.
but now Frege is the absolute GOAT. Like,
Yeah.
no one else is topping him.
Passing of the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I still like Darren Dreger though. Like he breaks a lot
Darren,
of shit.
no, he doesn't though. On free agents on the first day of free agency, he was like my least go-to person. It was Elliot and
and Chris Johnson was
Chris
Chris Johnson was
Johnson.
great.
Which,
And
but
then
I've always counted on Darren, but I would agree with that. The last 1 or 2 years, he has kind of slightly gone
and
down.
you know why? It's because he had a cousin-in-law or something like that. He had a relationship with Nonis, who was in the Leafs front
Right.
office for the
That's
longest
right.
time.
Yep.
And that's how that really he had all those big Leaf scoops.
Yeah.
Well, those scoops are all
God, I forgot about Dave Nonis.
those
What
are all
is
guys.
he-
He,
what is
was a
he-
Leafs GM for a bit,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
and
What-
people forget that he even existed. They
Where's
just think he went
these
from
days?
John Ferguson Jr.
Yeah.
and then and then we got Kyle Dubas and Lou.
Yeah. And then wasn't there Fletcher too?
Cliff came in multiple stints
Yeah.
with Cliff.
Yeah.
I will say, for me, the most underrated breaking guy is when you see half of Kevin Weeks' head, and it's just
Bro,
like
that's the
the
funniest
Montreal
thing in the-
Canadiens have acquired, and it's just like, dude, he's in the most random places. He's like
It's
outside his car
unbelievable.
window.
No, I can't say. I literally have blocked him on all accounts.
I love it.
I
It's
can't
so
fucking
funny.
stand Kevin Weeks.
Oh,
I will say him stirring up Sidney Crosby stuff pissed me off.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fair.
Yeah.
God damn
Yeah,
it,
and I
dude.
think that feels real to me.
I think it's real, but no one wants to report it's real until you hear like the Penguins start doing bad.
Yeah.
Or Crosby says something. It's one of those things where maybe it's because of respect for Crosby you don't bring it up.
I don't know. I think it seems less real to me because Kevin was like the hard eyes and like Utah and all these fucking things.
Yeah.
Didn't he
Like-
post a picture of like the Denver city?
Yeah, the city skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
There was
like,
something else that happened though. It was
Did
something
George
minor.
LaRock tweet something too, though?
Yes.
George
Yeah.
LaRock tweeted something.
maybe George LaRock tweeted the photo of like Denver.
No, that was Weeks.
Was it
Oh,
still?
it was
I
Weeks,
thought
yeah.
Weeks said Crosby, and then the other one tweeted.
Either way, it is real, and I want it to be real. Personal vendettas aside, like Pittsburgh being on fire, like it is. So can people just act like it's on fire?
Yeah.
It pisses me off. Like,
Yeah.
Sid also incredibly private.
Yes.
So if you report on stuff, you don't have much to go on.
And see, this is why I think George's post has more weight than others.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't post about this shit. He doesn't get insider information. And he must have been like, I have enough here that I feel I'm confident that I can say this for the first time in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I feel the most weight came from.
I just wonder how Pittsburgh fans are going to take it if Crosby leaves because he's the reason people care about Pittsburgh.
But he's afforded
Before-
himself like having 3 Stanley Cup.
But
Right,
it's still
rings.
like,
it's
I know
you
the
can
fans
allow
are
you
never
can let
gonna
him go
turn
in
on
the
him.
sunset.
but are the fans just going to stop caring about
No.
Pittsburgh again?
No.
They're gonna turn on somebody, but it won't be Sid.
It'll be.
It'll be
Dubas.
Yeah,
they
for sure,
will,
for sure.
I can't say what I was about to say. But
Say it.
Do the fans? Do we revert back to like before Crosby got to Pittsburgh and it was a dying fan base?
No, because they're just going to
Crosby
get
saved-
McKenna and then they're golden again.
and they're also gonna
Maybe.
Malkin's gonna be gone too, and they're gonna they'll force him out.
Yeah.
The ownership will go, all right, this is like the end.
Well, he's already said this is his last year.
Yeah.
No, not Malkin,
No,
but I mean Dubas.
Pittsburgh
will-
said
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
wouldn't. Yeah, they weren't going to re-sign Malkin
Yeah.
anymore. Which, like, what a slap in the face before your season is
Yeah.
even started. We're like,
Like-
yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be such an arrogant little fuckhead to leak that to somebody
Yeah.
in the organization, whoever it comes from. You have to be so arrogant
It's
to
just such
think that that's how you're
disrespectful
going to deal
behavior.
with
Yeah,
that.
and those are the
Like a
conversations.
20-year veteran.
Yeah, you need that to be private.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a private conversation, especially in hockey. Like, I get NBA, I get NFL, but in hockey, it's just a different set of rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like any professional sport, like you should have that level of respect with your player, unless there's like open drama going on, and it's like, we're not even going to resign this guy anyways. But it's not like Malkin is a problematic player that they're like, we need to make an example of this guy.
No, I get it, but I'm saying like that happens more in other associations
but
where
just
like
pro
it
sports
becomes
in
the norm,
general,
right?
it should
Like
be,
look at the
like,
Luca thing,
professional.
right? He had no fucking idea and then gone at midnight.
Yeah.
Well, Valanciunas saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go play. I'm going back home."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. It's different in other sports. How you can't. The NHL and the way it operates, you can't do that to a player, regardless. And teams doing it to a guy who's only been there 3-4 years, different than Malkin.
Completely different
For
story.
sure.
So
For
much
sure.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ownership there, whether they're forced to or not, will make a significant change because the fans will revolt.
Yeah.
Like people forget they're in Pennsylvania. They're not
Yeah.
that far from Philadelphia. Pittsburgh fans, like Steelers
Are
fans, are
wild.
known for being hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Penguins fans don't get the same vibe, but like
Feels like those are the Philadelphia Flyer fans.
yeah, like you push a
Yeah.
motherfucker and they'll go. It'll be
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Yeah. To end off the Byron McBain stuff, I just read Elliot, of course, the GOAT. He talked about they can actually choose 2-year deals if they want,
Mm.
and that would take them to UFA quicker.
Yeah.
So
So-
up to 2 years,
Up
right?
to 2, yeah. So if you're either of those guys, do you take a 2-year and then go to free agency quicker? Because there's talks of like Byram apparently wanting to stay in Buffalo, and the issue's the contract, not the team.
Mm.
That's
So, like,
crazy.
I don't know, man. Like if I'm Byram's agent, I'm like, dude, take the 2-year deal, go to free agency. If you do left shot defenseman, mobile, you do decent. He's probably getting like 7-8 mil in 2 years.
But what would his arbitration contract be?
That's what I don't
That's
know.
No,
interesting.
that would be that's
Yeah.
that's hard to know. But like if I was Byron, like I would want to take the 1 year and potentially get traded at the deadline to a cup contender.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout too.
That's what I would choose. And especially if you know that you don't want to sign to the Sabres and be at long term
Yeah.
or like want to have a better opportunity 2 years from now,
Yeah.
do the 1 year deal and fucking be gone in 9 months.
But a
Yeah.
2-year deal is also a 1-year deal when you think about it because they will have to move him in the summer or
Right.
at the deadline the following season.
Right, but then you're also but as a player you're sacrificing potentially not being in the playoffs or in a team like you can get crazy
Yeah, but
assets at the
you're
trade
on
deadline.
Buffalo. You're sacrificing everything being there.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say like
Like-
where else from Buffalo? Let's say Buffalo signs him. He signs for 2 years, and he gets traded to, I don't know, Chicago. Is that really that much worse
Right.
for 1 more year? Probably not.
Oh.
And at Chicago, you play with Bedard, you do a little bit better. You go to UFA. Now all of a sudden, teams are like, here's 8x8, 7x8, whatever. Well,
Does he do better
won't
in
be- it'll be
Chicago
higher
than he
than
does
that.
in Buffalo, though?
well, that's the thing. I mean, if you got Bedard there, Bedard him on the power play. I don't know.
I'd say Chicago's got more going for it than Buffalo does.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree.
Is McBain the same though? Where you would
I don't know. I feel like you got like it's a new fresh life in Utah. They made some decent moves. I'd kind of stick it out in Utah. That'd
Yeah.
probably be a
I
decent
feel
place
that
to play.
there's just
Nice-
more life there.
nice
right?
weather, a little
Yeah.
bit more. The team's a little bit more lively. Like you have a better shot at making the playoffs.
Less crime.
Less crime, all
That's
that
fair.
stuff.
Find
yeah.
God. Yep.
You can find God too. Exactly.
Hey.
But I think there's interesting names like, that are, still available on the offer sheet.
Yeah.
So like what? There's Velarde, Rossi, McTavish, and
I
is there
think-
another one?
Those were the three kind of big ones. If producer Nick could just pull it up here, like Velarde had 27 goals and 61 points. Like I'm shocked. Like the Rossi talk, there's been lots of McTavish. There's been lots of, but Anaheim has cap space. I'm surprised it's been this quiet on Velarde. Like I haven't heard much about this.
Well, because Winnipeg doesn't have the flexibility, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't more teams who are eligible to offer sheet be more involved? Like I've heard more about McTavish getting offer sheeted than Velarde.
So, I think last year's 2 offer sheets from St. Louis,
Yeah.
changed how we think of it. Because before that, it wasn't like a common thing, and now
Yeah.
we're kind of expecting, who's gonna get offer sheeted?
Mhm.
You have to give up so much for players if they're worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're giving up first-round draft picks, and especially with next year being the McKenna sweepstakes, do you want to give up a first-round pick?
Well, Nick, can you bring that the second tab
compensation
up
sheet
where it
up?
shows you the compensation?
Yeah.
But see, I see it as a greater
other tab
strategy,
there.
like knowing you can't get the player, but you're putting someone in your division or in your conference into a higher cap situation where they have to commit, and then you're forcing them to make difficult decisions, and you're holding them to that for a long term,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not always just about getting the player; it's also about putting your competitor in a very tight spot.
Yeah, no, I think you can squeeze, and also some of the compensation isn't like crazy depending on how you're going to structure contracts here. That where you guys think you see teams actually really get aggressive with the offer sheets is when they have the compensation in terms of draft picks, and they look and go, "There's no fucking way these guys, even though the contract isn't like we're not overpaying by that much.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way these guys are going to match because like they're in cap hell."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see as much cap hell between Winnipeg, Minnesota, and then
Yeah.
obviously we know Anaheim is in cap heaven right now.
Yeah.
They got all the money in the world.
So they'll,
And the cap going up.
yes.
Yep.
Right.
So Anaheim,
However, like when you
Yeah.
look at like the UFA list of this year, and there really hasn't been that many, you have to look at offer sheets and say, hey, there's not a lot of guys that we can go out and sign right now. Do we have to go steal from a team?
I think that's where it gets interesting, but then you also have to factor in free agency next year is going to be insane.
yes.
As of
Yeah.
right now, I mean, by this time next year or by July 1st next year, 8 of the 10 top guys could be re-signed, which wouldn't surprise anyone.
No.
But I think like you're going to see a lot more teams carry more cap space into the season because like I just looked up Winnipeg and like their big RFAs are beside Velarde, Dylan Sandberg, who's a defenseman, Rasmus Kupari, and Morgan Barron. So like,
Yep.
if they get Velarde to like $6 million and get the other guys, they're gonna have like $9 million in cap space going into the season.
Yep.
Which isn't bad for a team that's going to be in the playoffs.
Mhm.
No. not at
But
all.
I think it's just interesting because there was so much talk about offer sheets and like it probably was built, like you said, Terry, off those 2 St. Louis ones, and like that kind of got everyone like excited and hyped up about it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the only guy on that list I could see moving is Rossi, and I don't even think it's an offer sheet. I think it's it's a sign and trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would disagree. The only name on this list that we could see the restricted free agents is Lafayette. Ken Holland's his GM. Ken Holland was the GM of the Oilers when those 2 offer sheets happened.
Yeah.
Anyone's negligence is going to come and play.
That's fair.
That's fair.
See you later.
I also did not know Luke Hughes was an RFA. I haven't heard.
Yeah, that's
anything on that.
interesting.
Well, it's just probably because no one's gonna even think
Even
about
think
it.
about doing
True.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, like,
The only team that should think about it is Jersey re-signing him because they
Yeah.
want Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
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 So this is the only reason we want you here. Or
Which-
a team grabs him and is like, well, we've got one of the 3 now. Come on.
yeah.
You start bringing the other brothers.
No, I think he's a definite
But yeah,
resign.
you stay there and then you
Mhm.
get Quinn.
I don't know what the pause is right now with McTavish and Anaheim.
They probably wanted to see what they could do in free agency and then see
Mhm.
from that point how much they can get Pat Verbeek to give them.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did hear Pat Verbeek. He's the GM, right?
Yep.
I think I heard on something today on the radio. McTavish was one of his first draft picks.
Yep.
So like he's not like the elite of the elite core, but he's part of that like rebuilding core that they're working with.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a little bit of like, hey, this is my guy,
Right.
a little bit. So I don't see any of those 3. I mean, maybe Marco Rossi, but I don't know. Lots of teams need second line centers, but no one's trading to Minnesota, so
Hey.
I don't know what's going on, man.
The Leafs have 2 second-line centers. At least they have that. They don't have a top right winger, but
Yeah.
you can't always get everything that you want. But speaking of getting things that, like, what world are we fucking living in? The UFC is going to host an event on the White House lawn.
Oh
What
my
the
gosh.
Outdoor UFC. I got to tell you guys, MMA events, when they're outdoors, don't go well. Because if there's any rain, the mat gets slippery. So they're going to have to probably build a structure, or this is going to be a private event and it's not on the lawn. Either way, what world?
I mean, Trump said it was going to be like a 20 to 25,000 people event. So, who knows? But
So that would be inside the gates near the front.
they have like 18 acres of land
Right.
there that they can work with, right?
See, I love the picturesque like view of there being a UFC fight, and then you're seeing the fucking White House in the. I kind of fall in love with that idea. Like I like big grand ideas.
Yeah.
Like I see that as being like a huge pay-per-view moment, and just like crazy illegal streaming to watch this. Like it's one of those things like you get to say like I got to see that.
Could you imagine the aura if you knock someone out in front of the White House and you're just standing over them?
Yeah, my thing is, I don't believe that they're going to have a giant spectator thing for this. My belief is they're going to get closer and the security concerns and everything, and this is going to be a private VIP event. It's going to be much, because he's a big talker. Action happens, it's less. So
Yeah.
I would suspect the tickets for this are going to be absurdly expensive, and you're going to have to get vetted to be there. So like, I think this is going to get very private, very quick. It's just going to be a bunch of rich motherfuckers doing their thing. And
What do you think of like for one ticket? What would that cost?
I think it's going to be 20 G's.
So like more than the Super Bowl.
No,
More than the Super Bowl.
Well, Super Bowl is more than that, depending on the ticket. But
Yeah.
Okay,
but like
so
the
for your
lowest ticket
cheapest,
though, you could get it.
cheapest ticket in the arena, or like in the whatever you want
On
to
the
call it,
lawn?
in the venue, on the grass. Yeah, you're sitting on seats. $20
gladiator.
BYOC, bring your own chair.
The cheapest beach towel on the grass,
Yeah.
it will be.
like think about it this way before you answer, Terry. I don't think this will ever happen again at the White House.
No.
So this is a one and done.
Unless Trump
So-
gets elected
okay,
again.
so-
somehow.
I'd say a minimum ticket would be $10K.
No, I'm gonna say under that. I'd say under 5.
No way.
Yeah.
if
They
it's a
just
private event,
if it's a private, then I would put it closer to 10K. But if it's like something where we all could buy tickets, I'm gonna say it's under 5K.
Well,
I'm not going to be allowed on the White House.
Yeah.
Lawn.
It'll be American. They'll do some. It's gonna be. It's not gonna function the way they. They're at
You've
the
gotta have a
security vet
bald eagle
every
tattoo
single
to get
fucking
in.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the amount of protests that would be there would be wild.
Because it's not like you're having an event at T-Mobile where it's like a controlled, fixed spot and like it's designed for this.
Yeah.
It's not, and you're bringing all. It's also like Trump at T-Mobile or wherever it may be. Like they can plan well in advance and get that all sorted out because it's built to do that.
Yeah.
And they do this here. There's so many open variables.
Yeah.
It's like it's a
Well,
fucking security concern.
That and when you're talking about the U.S. government, you got to remember the taxpayers are paying for that,
Yeah.
right? So like all that extra security, like the police officers, like, and if Trump's watching, he's probably going to be in like a veranda, like come out, do his speech and talk, walk, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like he might go in the crowd, but like it's not like he's going to be a front row of the crowd like at the UFC. He's going to be probably be like up there behind bulletproof glass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you're in
possibly.
the open. Like,
Yeah.
are they going to build a fucking roof for this? I don't.
Yeah.
That seems absurd.
Yeah.
Like, but this is why I love the idea. The idea of this is crazy and it's absurd and it seems like it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. I think the interesting part about it is going to be, I mean, obviously Dana White's great friends with Trump.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, if this is a private event, are you making more money than you usually make at a like because it's a money sport.
Yeah.
So it's like if I could make $100 million putting this fight in New York, and now I'm putting it on the front lawn.
I mean, they're making like in gates. Like sometimes it's like a few million. It's not gonna be
So,
like
like,
crazy million.
yeah. So it'd
Like
be
20
really
million
easy.
in UFC Noche was like I think it was 21 million is
Yeah, yeah.
the biggest gate they've ever had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think they would have to sell that much if it was like high price tickets.
Yeah.
But
But he also said 20,000 people. How are you? Can 20,000 people fit on the front lawn?
well, I mean, like I said, they've got 18 acres of
Yeah.
land. They can
Yeah.
do stuff. And I mean, this isn't the first time someone's done something. Like Obama built a basketball court at the White House.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon built a bowling alley
It's just
Oh, I forgot about
20,000
Nixon.
seats.
I
I
just-
just Bill Clinton built a blowjob booth. They've done a lot of stuff. So
Right.
like
But
20,000
20,000
seats,
people.
bathrums for that many people.
Yeah.
porta
Food for
potties,
that
baby.
There's gonna be a lot of shantlers out there.
pizza.
There's like
and you have to give 20,000 people a decent enough view for them to pay, even if the cheapest is $2 grand.
Trump's
I'm
gonna be out there-
honest with you.
Trump's gonna be bringing
I've been
McDonald's
to
for
a
everybody.
UFC event where you're sitting in the back the entire time you're watching the screens.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what the fuck your view is. As long as you have a screen that you can see, you're fine.
Is it all going to
Exactly
be
that.
general admission then, I guess?
no, it's
No, God, no.
Could you
no, no.
imagine?
No,
Like,
you're gonna
I
have
know,
like your
like,
first
my
few
buddy's
rows
Grab
of
your
that.
first
My
seat,
buddy's
please.
friends with Dana, and I was almost gonna ask him. I know he's gonna try and get his way into this one, but like this, like, are you gonna tell me they're gonna let people who politically oppose them like get a seat at this? No, it's gonna be a VIP thing without a doubt. But apparently Connor and John Jones have both said, both two guys who don't want to fight, who had belts that weren't like that they were just fucking around with. Both those guys say, oh yeah, you know what, we'll go, we'll
Yeah.
fight.
Who else do you think would be there?
Who's a mega
John
supporter?
Strickland.
So here's the thing you got to think about. There's no American champions right now besides Kayla Harrison.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only champion that you have that's American. So
And this
Right.
fight
what
would
do
be
you-
a year out?
Yeah. 1 year from now.
Yeah, 2026. Yeah.
You're hoping that somebody takes the belt that's American at that
Mhm.
point, because who's going to headline it?
Yeah, that's
Right.
a good point.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison can't have like
No.
she's a name, but she
She
can
would
co-main,
would
but
be
she
a
can't-
good co-main or like third fight if you're going to like
Yeah.
stack this card that it needs to be.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
want this to be like America versus everybody else.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, hear me out. You just do a straight America versus UK card. And it's like taking, the battle all over again, dude.
That is one
God
way to
bless.
approach it.
The
yeah.
UK when they burn down the White House.
That'd be
again?
so
Yeah.
funny.
That'd be
they
wild.
get the White House, they take over.
It
Not
just-
the first time it's been burned down.
Nope.
there's a lot to this, and the math doesn't math across the board. Like it's like when they do like July 4th baseball, and then you're watching like 3 Venezuelans and 2 Dominicans and a guy from Cuba hitting nukes.
Right.
Like
Yep.
they ran an ad that was just like, I'm like, most of these guys aren't even American.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so it'll be the exact same thing where people are kind of like laughing, being like, yeah, America just tries
Well,
to steal
it's
everyone's
the
best.
same thing as like the Stanley Cup. It's like, oh, our American team just won. I was like, yeah, you have 18 Canadians
Did you
on the
know
team.
they've never won a Stanley Cup that didn't have more that no team's ever won the Stanley Cup with more Americans than Canadians
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
Not one time.
Wonder why.
Not one time.
Because America's so good at hockey, dude.
So
Amazing.
So here's an interesting question. So like I see this also as a future play. So if you want to do this at the White House, that's great. Where does this set you up where you can take this to another outside area? Because like I was thinking of like an aircraft like Harrier jet or like our aircraft boat.
Yeah,
Right.
aircraft
So
carrier.
you have that carrier, and then or like do you put one like in front of the pyramid?
You get highways.
The
You're
pyramid.
No, but
trying
like
to fight
think about it for a
somebody.
second. If you can overcome that, this could be at the White House.
Yeah.
Where's like a major area and attraction where you would want to put the ring? That'd be a fucking spectacle.
The Coliseum.
Yeah,
the
see,
Coliseum.
That would be pretty sick.
That'd be wild.
I don't know if you'd be able to make that happen,
See,
but
and
like
What,
that's
the Taj Mahal.
And like I think
Very
of like
cool.
Saudi Arabia and stuff like that's why I think like the
Top of Mount Everest.
when I think about like
they're
the
on oxygen masks.
listen, if Mr. Beast can like rent out the fucking pyramids for like 3 days, I'm pretty sure UFC can come in there
He
for
probably
a day.
just made his own bullshit pyramids, bro. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I don't believe anything that guy does anymore.
Yeah, those pyramids were fake. It was all styrofoam.
Yeah, that's right.
They're made of your shoes, bro.
Oh my god. Dude, these shoes fuck. They should probably help you do that. But my vote, A, I don't think this is going to happen. B, if it does happen, it's going to be way different than they said it was.
Yeah.
And C, if it does all go through, somehow it'll be embarrassing still. But what's not embarrassing as a Canadian show here right now, the Blue Jays are making everybody eat their words from 2 months ago.
Dude, I'd hate to be a Yankees fan right now, man.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Did you guys hear about that stuff with the one? I don't know if he's a reporter or an announcer
Yeah,
or something.
so Jamie versus Ken, I think.
Yeah.
And like Ken went out and was like, yeah, Yankees, he's kind of being a little belligerent a little bit, but like kind of taking shots at the Jays. Then the Jays go for the sweep, and then Jamie comes out and it's like, I've got a pretty good idea. There's going to be a sportscaster south of me that's going to have some things to say on his next sportscast, and he
Yeah.
throws the broom,
Yeah.
right? And then they've kind of jockeyed a little bit over the last like day and a half.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, what I meant to say is, there's context here, and I wasn't really
they
taking
made
shots.
up a little
They
bit.
made up. There was
Yeah.
nice like social media like we're all friends, everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're just having a little fun, right?
Yeah,
But it's great seeing the Jays, like, they 4-0'd on the Yankees and 3-0'd on the Angels.
dude. The Angels was surprising to me because those were all 1-run games. I
Yes.
believe like those were all
Yep.
close. The Yankees, it was like, dude, like they were
Crushing.
and they were blowing leads, and they're like, we don't care, we're just gonna score more runs. Like that 4-game series, like the Jays, they always, and this is the thing I'm a little nervous about, is like I'm on such a high right now,
Yeah.
and I'm just waiting for that like drop.
Yeah.
And it happens, but I'm like, just don't drop as much as you normally do. Like,
And all the starting pitchers have been great. Like even the bullpen's been great. Like you've had like starting pitchers like Lauer, Scherzer, Barrios, oh my
Bassett
God,
pitched
Gossman.
okay.
Like
Gossman.
everybody's been pitching extremely well right now.
Yeah.
And they've been getting run support. And like not just run support from like 3 guys. It's been like, all right, 2 guys are kind of like doing well for like 2 or 3 games. Then they have like for instance, like Springer and Kirk coming out, and then they have like Vladdy the next game like doing very
Yeah.
well. So it's been like very spread from like top to bottom within the order.
Yeah, George Springer, like it's funny because you mentioned that, and right away I was like, I don't know, like it is guys helping out here and there, but like George Springer, like literally an hour ago, he's the American League Player of the Week, 5 homers, 13 RBIs, 429 average. Like that Yankees series was his.
Yep.
Like he is like on Wikipedia, he should be the owner of the New York Yankees at this point with how good he played. But you mentioned Kirk. Did you know they signed Alejandro Kirk for $30,000 out of Mexico? Didn't get drafted, never played a game above like single A ball, and he just got announced he's a backup at the All-Star game, I think.
Right.
So he's not starting, but he's a backup. Like, dude, we've talked about him on the show and like how we love seeing him run and stuff like that. But like, dude, I remember when they traded Moreno for was that Varsho to the Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
It was Moreno, and everyone was pissed off about it. But like, dude, the way Kirk's playing right now, man, like, who cares? Like, he's playing awesome.
Yeah, no, Kirk's been great, and what's awesome about him is that like everybody wasn't counting him even as like a great catcher,
Yeah.
and so now he's like risen his stock as like probably arguably top 3 catcher right now in the league,
I'd put it up there.
and then the hitting as well and the run support that he's been like his OBS, his on base percentage has been fantastic, his hitting percentage has been great, his slugging. So, like, he's put himself in a position where he's a great catcher and now also a great hitter.
Yeah. And I think the thing I'm most excited for with the Jays is, maintaining this, and they're going to lose some games. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They're going to lose some games. But if they cannot just plummet and they can kind of, like, even if they don't stay up here, but they, like, drop a little bit and then they stay here.
Just not crazy peaks and valleys.
No crazy peaks and valleys if they can stay consistent, but also when the deadline comes.
Yeah.
Like, like, people are talking about who they could get. I'm not, like, I mean, our pitching staff has been great, but like in a playoff series, which, if you're a Jays fan, you're hoping they make it. You're hoping they do good.
You still need a good setup, man.
You need a good setup, man. Like that, I'd like the big fish. I'd love for them, and I don't think it's gonna happen, but like I could dream. Jacob deGrom from the Rangers would be insane.
He's been so good this year.
They're doing bad. He's been insane.
He's been unreal.
That would almost be like a David Price level.
Yes,
when they got David Price.
it would be newsworthy everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? But like the problem with the Jays is right now, and they like you ask Springer, you ask multiple guys on the team, they're like the chemistry has been unreal.
Yeah.
Right? Like we feel like this is a great team. We all believe in each other. So when you get to the trade deadline, like and you have to move out 1 or 2 of those pieces to maybe get like an elite pitcher. I don't know. Does that break it up a bit? I don't know. It's tough calls.
I think you sell from another spot on your team. I don't think you adjust at all with anyone else. Like your batting lineup's been cleaning consistently. I think you have to give up other pieces.
Yeah, it's got to be young guns.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of at the trade deadline, Nick Suzuki, like 2 days before for Montreal, went to Kent Hughes and was like, "Don't trade anyone."
Yep.
He's like, "I believe we can make this with this team." And Kent said, "Okay," or I think it might have been like 2 weeks before he said, "Okay, prove it to me." And Suzuki got 13 points in 5 games, and they won 5 straight.
Yep.
That's almost kind of what I'm getting from this. Is like, okay, if George Springer and all those guys are saying it, it's like, keep this going,
Right?
Like keep it going. And to what Bab said, if you have to trade, like maybe it'll cost you 2 really good prospects instead of 1 and a roster player, but do you do that to not ruin the chemistry and add a solid piece instead of just trading away Springer or someone else you don't want to get rid of.
If you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
And like here it is 6 weeks ago, we were talking about Bichette being traded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? 6 weeks ago. Right? And now like Addison Barger has been unreal.
Dude, out of nowhere.
Yeah. So he's been like it's such a like and here it is where we were 8 to 10 weeks ago and we were saying like, does Ross Atkins get fired?
Yeah.
right? Does Shapiro get fired? Like, these are two guys, like, and now that they've played well, it's like, all right, well, maybe they actually did a decent job.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, like, they get to keep their jobs 1 year out of kind of like the last shitty 6 years in a row, right? So it's like, with the strategy and how well they're playing right now, does it guarantee them a safety with their contract, right, from the president and GM?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But have you been to a Jays game this year?
No, but I
No.
can't wait to go.
I have
Both of you have.
Yeah.
I'm almost too scared to go to a Jays game because whenever they've won some insane games and I've gone, and they've lost some horrible games and
Right.
I've gone. I think the last game I went to was that playoff. No, yeah, it might have been that playoff game that they
Superstitious?
absolutely- Yeah, they were
Yeah.
up 7-0 and they lost like 8-7 or 9-7.
They lost when I was there. Did they lose when you were there?
Crushed it.
Okay, so then Hill and I can't show up.
Yeah,
I'll go to
I had
games.
a-
Don't worry, boys.
I had a buddy in the Canadian Armed Forces that went for 3 games from the Yankees, and I think the first game of the Angels.
Yeah.
They won all 3.
Ooh.
So I was like, dude, I commented
Oh.
on Facebook. I was like, dude, you got to keep going to fucking games.
Just keep going, man. Find
Just
a way to make
don't
it
stop.
happen,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think also if I walked in here with the shoes would be bad luck too, man. It'd be too much pressure. They're too large.
Dude, you could
They
walk
kick
up
you
those
out for
fucking
those
ramps with those
shoes.
shoes.
Oh my god, you'd make it to the
it
500s.
looks
you
like
wouldn't
I'm
feel anything.
smuggling. You could it looks like I'm smuggling.
Yeah, they would try to
things.
cut them open to be like, what's
Yeah.
Dude, if
inside
you had to
there?
take that off at TSA at an airport, they'd tell you to check that under the plane.
Yeah.
It's so big. Those aren't carry-ons.
they're like the bottom of like a guy who's like wearing a size 17. Like that's the size
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
The
You're
back
like
of the boot.
Shaq shoes or some shit.
Yeah. Fuck. It's just too funny. MLB All-Star game though. Like I shit on this one. I've shit on actually most of the All-Star games. And we actually did that as a group too. They're bullshit and who gives a fuck. However, people still like to complain as to like who got picked for whatever. I know there's some like notable omissions, but like we can complain about it.
Mhm.
Who here is gonna watch the MLB All-Star game?
I only watched the home run.
I was just about to say, does the home run derby count?
Yeah, if you're betting on the home run derby,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch part of it, and the only reason I usually do is this is the only All-Star game that has meaning to it. Because whoever wins, I think
They
gets
got rid of
home field advantage. Did they get rid of it?
That's gone.
Oh well.
Really? Well then.
Well, now you're not watching.
Well, maybe I shouldn't watch it to protest.
Well, now I'm not watching.
To
Yeah,
protest.
they got rid of that, so the home field advantage piece, I believe, is
You know what?
Sucks.
You know what I love that the Japan league does is that they have a bunting challenge in their All-Star game.
Dude,
Yeah.
don't
And
they have the
That's
circles on either
Yeah,
side?
and dude, I was like, so I was watching. I don't know if it was like they just had theirs or whatever, but I was watching clips and I was like, I was in like 25 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still watching this. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Dude, we should watch that here one day at the studio and just like live bet it. And
Yeah, I was
just
gonna say
react
we got to
to it.
bet
That'd
on
be
it.
so have either of you guys seen it?
Yes, I have. I know, like, I also bet just straight up just betting on that. I know some people wake up that live here wake up in the mornings to bet on like the Korean baseball league
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
Right.
So Terry, they literally have like tarps on either side of like first and third, like just a little bit in,
Mhm.
and it's like a bullseye with different, and then you bunt, and it has to get as close to the middle as you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's
That's
so-
so
it's-
fun, man.
It's like
so fun.
like chipping in golf, right? You're
Okay.
trying to get it right to like
or like
the middle.
bocce.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah,
you play
it's
bocce,
so
it's
fun.
like,
That's
oh man,
fun.
it's so
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of fun to watch. But like, you know, we were just giving like Springer his flowers, and like, you know, he just got what, Player of the Week? Or Player of the
American
Month?
League Player of the Week.
Yeah.
After finding out he's not going to the All-Star game,
Right.
which is horrible.
And it was pretty shocking because I believe like Trey Turner wasn't also selected.
Turner was a snub.
Rosarina.
Soto was a snub.
Soto and Rafael
Devers.
He was also snub, and he's been having a decent year.
But like, I'm kind of happy about Soto and Devers not getting there because I just don't like them as human beings.
fair.
So like, I'm so happy about that. And I'm sure social media can probably agree.
I don't get Springer though, because like I know he's had this hot streak recently, and like maybe they're trying to avoid recency bias, but like Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners got in.
Yeah.
And Springer's having an objectively better season. Like he's got a better average. He's got more homers. He's got more RBIs. He's got a better OPS. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. And this isn't an all-star game where I don't think every team goes in.
Yeah.
It's not like the NHL where it's
No.
like one guy from every team. Which, by the way, NHL, please stop doing that.
They have to, because sometimes you have like, and yeah, he's my goat, but he's not everyone else's goat. Yannick Perreault was.
I
on the
loved
NHL.
Yannick Perreault. He was
Nope.
so good on the faceoffs.
No panic, Yannick
Yeah.
was the representative for Arizona or Phoenix at the time in like 06 or 07.
Yeah.
And it was people were like, Yannick Perreault is like out of his prime. Now he had a legacy year, don't get me wrong, but he went to the NHL All-Star game kind of because like he is the NHL's all-time face-off GOAT. In any other situation, if it's like the MLB style, he'd be like 30, 40 guys down.
You guys, do you remember when the NHL allowed the fan voting?
John
And they-
Scott. I was
Yes.
legitimately
John
Scott.
going to bring
Yeah.
that up. I was going to say we need that.
I love that because it was like,
Yes.
fuck you to Gary Bettman and everybody else. We want like this enforcer, this fighter. And what did John Scott do? He handled the whole event with class.
Yeah.
And was like an amazing entertainer.
Didn't he score 4 goals too? Like,
It-
they
yeah,
were doing
no, they
everything to
kept
set
feeding
him up.
they
Everyone
kept
was
feeding
feeding
him.
him.
They
Yeah.
fed
Set him
him
up. It was
all the time.
so funny.
And the fucking crowd was chanting
Yes.
for fucking Scott.
Yeah, like that was great.
And all the executives and the clubs and NHL as a whole was like, we fucking hate this, and everybody fucking loved it. And I was like, why is this not happening every year?
They got rid of
exactly.
so they did that, right? And they're like, okay. Some guy had tried to do it before. I believe his last name was Fitzgerald. And God, this would have been probably in the O's or maybe
Tom Fitzgerald?
maybe. Anyway,
That's another ex-Leaf.
he was in he was like trying to get people to fucking
Right.
vote him in, and there was traction with it. He was actually just straight up in the AHL by part of it, so like he couldn't go.
Yeah.
But someone had tried to do it before John Scott did, so
Mhm.
like, and John Scott was also in the AHL.
yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
didn't they waive him?
They traded him to Montreal,
and Montreal
and
waived
they
him.
put him in the AHL, and then Montreal called him up, and he got to play his game.
Yeah,
That's
Which is
awesome.
kind of, and it's funny. He did a TSN bit, and he talked about the Montreal jersey being the coolest jersey he put on, which was like kind of funny. But I don't remember an NHL All-Star game that was fun after that.
I don't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
Was the Ovi wanting the car one after that?
No,
that
that
was
was
before.
No,
That was
like it
before.
was funny with the Phil Kessel shit.
Yeah,
That was
like,
before,
there's
though.
funny
That was before.
moments,
Yeah.
But like the actual game
The,
itself is
the
not.
game's
Or-
been shit.
Do you guys remember the Marvel thing they released in cooperation with Marvel or not Marvel? The guy that created Stan Lee, where like each NHL team had their own like superhero. You guys remember
Oh,
that?
I don't
No.
really remember that.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
I remember. Wasn't there mascots on the ice though?
That's every year.
That's
I
every year.
No,
they do
but
a thing.
with Marvel characters.
No, there was just a Marvel thing.
You're right.
Like they
Okay.
literally like
It was
made
just
the
a Marvel
Toronto
thing.
Maple Leaf, who was this like tree thing, and the Carolina Hurricane was some guy that could like throw discs and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. If you can find this. Often forgot about. Utterly insane.
But yeah.
Utterly insane. People were sitting there going, "What the
Yeah.
fuck is this?" Because the NHL was trying to be cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't do like a Nickelodeon like slime thing like they do with the NFL.
Oh, that dude. Can you watch that in Canada? I don't
yeah,
know if you
the TSN ends up having a feed.
So
I think.
I've never been able to see it. I'd love to watch Patrick and SpongeBob
Yeah.
announce my football game
Yeah.
for me.
That is funny.
Like, dude, it's so like there's like TikToks that go viral of like the top 5 moments
Right.
of them broadcasting the Super Bowl.
It's like NHL always tries to do these like VR things or like little game things you can do with like Scotiabank or some shit.
Yeah.
You can watch the game and it's just like animated characters. No, you need Nickelodeon, man.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
NHL does do an animated game of the week bullshit. I don't want that personally. I don't know why kids
Yeah.
would watch it either.
But if you're doing for the all, like I could see it being for the All Star and trying to get younger.
They can get
Fair.
cooler. Same way the CFL we talked about. The influencers that talk about your sport, bring them in and get their ideas and have them make content around your stuff.
Yep.
Have a game that has meaning, and then you're like
And tailgating. My
The-
God, I still
yeah.
want tailgating.
The All-Star game in Toronto when I went, so I actually got invited to they had like their I don't know what it was called. It was like a content creator showcase.
yeah.
Where they had like a bunch of guys, like they had like Barber and like all
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
like guys playing Coach
Paddle
JP.
Barber, yeah.
So I got to like go on the ice and stuff. That was probably one of the funnest things. And that was a Saturday. That was the night before the skills
Mhm.
comp.
Yep.
But that was actually fun to watch. And like the amount of kids that came to that
Yeah, that was
and
crazy.
lost their mind when Chippy was there, lost their mind when all these other guys were playing and stuff.
Before
like,
Nasher shot the little kid, go Nasher!
Oh,
yeah.
so funny. Oh my
dude,
god!
like they need to. They just need to make it more fun. Like they're doing a better job at making like the going to the game fun and attending stuff before the skills comp.
Yeah, I
It's gotten
remember
a little bit okay.
it just feels like the players don't care.
They don't give a
Kucherov
fuck.
literally didn't try. He
Okay,
got
but-
booed
I
by
know.
the entire.
I
now,
can't
in
stand that.
Kucherov's defense, have you ever seen him play hockey?
It's very lazy.
He
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
look like he tries.
Yeah.
so
Fair.
like, that one's
That's
hard.
fair.
That
That's
one's like hard to be like, Kucherov, try harder.
Yeah.
He doesn't even try on his own team.
No,
Like,
I think you just go in and you make the All-Star game home ice advantage for East or West, and you just make it that way again.
Ooh, I like that.
And then
Yeah.
you have them do whatever the fuck it is, even if it's not a regular game. Still try and make it fun. Give it actual meaning in the skills competition. You just need to either A, give them money, or B, give them money and then match that to charity so they look like assholes if they don't try.
But I also hate when the goalies don't try, where it's like fucking 33 to fucking 29.
Oh, in the shootout?
Right? No, but just in
Oh,
general
just
for the
in
All-Star game.
general.
Yeah.
Like
But also,
I want
when
the
you've got,
the
like-
goalies to try.
You've got Crosby and Malkin coming a 2-on-0 on you. You're getting
I'm
fucked.
expecting the score to run up, but not
Yeah.
in the fucking 30s, man. There
Yeah.
should be 12 goals.
Now,
period.
my
Fair.
counterpoint to that will be when they have like the shootout challenge. I hate when it's like, oh, here's the winning goalie who saved 32 out of 33 shots.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you tried a little too hard. So it's like they need that like balance in
Yeah.
between almost.
The goalies for the games, they should just sub them in with guys that aren't NHL goalies. So
Ooh.
they try incredibly
Yeah, like-
hard.
yeah.
Because the goalies are worried about getting hurt. And
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't replace a goalie like you can replace a center.
David
Like
Ayres.
backup goalies or AHL goalies
or just
something.
one of each of us.
Yeah.
No, like straight up,
Yeah,
you
for
probably
sure.
just grab like fucking
Steve from the
T1
200s.
goalie. He's like a goalie that's good, but not like.
It's like a concert. Who knows how to play guitar? Who can play goalie?
Who's in section 201? Look under your chair. You're
No,
playing
they should-
There's
goal.
a goalie glove on. Oh my god.
That's the way to do it because I don't get excited to go watch a goalie in the All Star game. I want to watch McDavid and Crosby fucking
Yeah.
play together.
Yeah.
Fair.
So would it be safe to say all the All-Star games suck then? Because
Yes,
the
every single
MLB
one.
was the only one I thought because of the field
Pro
thing.
Bowl is horrible.
That's the
It's
worst
flag
by
football
far.
now, and
Yeah.
the players don't care, and also it's like no one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the All-Star game is just for moments. Like you get like the Zegras
yeah.
shootout goal where he's
Yeah.
blindfolded in wearing the average Joe's gym
Yeah.
outfit. Like that's cool. It's stuff like that you're gonna get like little moments, but the game itself kind of
The NBA when they
Whatever.
don't try.
no, nobody
Yeah.
tries. Nobody
If-
wants to get
if
hurt.
it
I
was
think
so
they're gonna
bad.
try a little more with the USA versus World for the
Yeah.
That's
the
the only
NBA
time
one.
when players care
Yeah.
is when you're for your
And
country.
everybody was watching and everybody was talking about it.
The one thing I do miss is if they do East versus West or have home ice advantage, they can't do it. The draft was so fun to watch. It was so funny just watching like Kane and Taves like just like looking at Phil Kessel like, all right, come on, Phil, we're happy with our last.
You can only
pick,
do
but come
that
on
so
over."
much though.
Yeah, I
Right.
think I get
But
the
how
old-
long has
This-
it been since they've done it?
a long
like
time.
the last
Yeah.
draft that we had, the one that we like. I don't know if you went to that draft on the Thursday of the All-Star
yeah,
weekend.
they did that.
It was so
It
bad.
was awful. And
Yeah.
got, like,
So I think
Buble
the
up-
way they did it was bad.
Yeah, it was just not a good
Yeah.
time.
It was more fun when they had two teams, or even if you have four teams, they had like two or three guys from each team up there picking, and all the other players are just sitting there together.
And they also did a million commercial breaks during the Thursday thing, and Tate McRae was there, and Michael
Yeah.
Bublé was on shrooms, and it was just genuinely like
A
it was.
buddy of mine.
was cringe.
Let me tell you, Tate McRae,
Dude,
social
he
media
showed me a
went
picture of them
wild.
Together,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god.
It was bad. But maybe we can have some good here. Fun little segment. Coaches are going to make bets. Each
Yes.
person on each coach is going to make a bet.
Yeah.
And we are going to put them together. So it'll be Coach 1, the cool coach, versus Coach 2, the lame coach. And it'll just add to the parlay challenge we do every week. Just a little teaser here at the end. So if you enjoy hanging out with us, you'll enjoy us gambling on it too. We actually win money now, so that's a fantastic
It
spot.
should be fun.
Some of us.
Charlie, our couches won more money though.
That is true. We do
We
have
have
more
more
money
more
on our
fun,
side.
though, dude.
We have
So-
more, oh yeah, fun.
Yeah.
I forgot we're keeping track with fun.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah,
That's why
fun- no,
Terry
fun
said
does
that.
People
count
at
for
home are
something.
keeping track of fun, dude, and
Yeah.
they know we're having way
So
more.
so who's
over here.
going for you guys?
We're
going
gonna go
first?
first because you guys are.
So it's
lame.
left couch versus right couch,
Yep.
and what it is going to be a $5 two leg.
$5 two-legger, just
two
to-
legger,
just
and
add some juice.
each person is going to own a leg.
Yep.
Right, and it's going to count towards all of our legs and our money total.
Yeah, just to add something, a little spice.
Little
So
spice.
I'm going. FIFA Club World Cup is heating up, so I'm gonna go with Chelsea minus 160 right now. I think they are a hot hand, and that's on the three-way money line, by the way.
Yeah.
Not the two-way. Hot hand. I like the hype. I've had success with soccer. I picked Mexico to win on Sunday in the Gold Cup, so I think Chelsea clears Fluminense, and I said that wrong, but
I was thinking about that one.
I really like what he said there. So we're going to lock that one in. And then this one I'm taking right from you guys because I have a feeling this is something you guys picked. But I'm going to take Mr. George Springer for a hit.
Ooh, hit
Diversion
tonight.
tactic worked.
Yep.
Good job.
Way to go, buddy.
We're just trying to get
Diversion
there.
tactic. What?
All right, so you guys are locked in.
Yep.
So what's
Yes.
your odds and what's your payout?
Yeah.
Let's take a look here.
21 on the-
Oh yeah.
Our payout's $6.13. Plus 122.
Okay, so slightly better odds than us. So
All right.
we were thinking about George Springer as well, but his last game versus the Angels, he kind of cooled off.
Starting
a
to
little
cool
bit.
off a little bit.
So we took away from that. That being said, though, Jays against the White Sox, I kind of like them to score a bunch of runs here. So I picked them -3.5 last time to get on the board. So I'm taking them over 4.5 runs in this game. I think there's going to be. I think Barzier's going to have a big game. I think there might be one or two guys that have a good game.
I think Kirk's going to keep going off.
But I don't know which one, so we're going to take it a little safer here because we actually like to get on the board rather than just have fat zeros next to our name. So I'm going to go with Jays over 4.5, and then Charlie's got another one as well.
Yeah, and then I'm going to take the Jays over the White Sox as well. So we're going to lock in. We're going to go straight Canadian here.
$5 pays out a Chris. Our odds are +102, so not as much as yours. So $5 is going to win us $5.14.
Broke bitches
And
over there.
how you're in you literally have no money one. It's the broke calling people broke.
The skinny couch is having fun, guys.
But the one thing I will say is, so this will if one couch wins or if both couches win, we split the money. So if we win, we each get 5 and change. And the legs count for both. So if we go 2-0, we each get 2 wins. If you guys go 2-0, you each get 2 wins.
We're locked in with FanDuel on ours.
Yep. Cool.
We'll grab you ours in a second here. I'm just enjoying the $18.20 in the first place I'm sitting in.
Well,
again.
Enjoy it until the next episode, buddy.
Yep. Until I make my move.
But hey, check the Sofa Kings Parlay Challenge, one of our other fun episodes. We also have some other, maybe you didn't like some of our takes today, maybe you didn't. Make sure to let us know. But that's it for today. We're going to see you guys later this week.